Hey everybody, it's Mackenzie. Welcome to our newest Blue Water webcast, Digital Marketing 4 Trends from Top Franchises. Today I am joined once again by Craig, our Director of One-to-One Digital Strategy, and he's going to help lead us into these trends and talk a little bit about who's doing them well. So as always, thanks for joining us, Craig.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Great. Well, let's just dive right in. The first trend you say is that consumers are on their mobile devices 24/7. Now, I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, we've actually covered this before, but they are. So basically 91% of adults say that their mobile phone is within arm's reach 24/7. So all the time they have their mobile phone.
Wow. And you say that they're getting, our level of patience is getting a little bit lower because we have that instantaneous connection all the
it's
time.
true. So people are used to having their phone on them all the time. They're also used to things being faster and faster. So basically 75% of people, when they go to a mobile website, expect it to come up within 5 seconds, otherwise they're abandoning the site. Really shows how important it is to really have your site optimized for mobile.
Definitely, for sure. And that is, typically the reason for that is because when we're on our mobile device, usually it's because we have a purpose. We're looking for something, we want answers right away, right?
That's exactly right. So 9 out of 10 people who do a mobile search, it leads to some type of action, and over half of those lead to a purchase. That's extremely powerful. That means more than half of those people are actually buying something.
Wow, that's huge. So mobile, obviously very big priorities for franchises. So let's talk about which franchises are doing this well.
Yeah, so we'll have a couple of examples, right? So Firehouse Subs, they won the 2013 Best Brand in Mobile. They have a fantastic app. It allows you to order, it allows you to find a local store, it allows you to pay. It's just a great app. Another one is Starbucks. Everyone talks about Starbucks, but that's because they do such a great job. So in 2012, they had over $1 billion in mobile payments through their app.
That doesn't shock me now that I think about it. I was in a Starbucks last week. I had 3 people ahead of me. Every single one of them paid with their phones.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. I'm behind the times a little
Right.
bit. I use my credit card. But
Yeah, I tend to too. So those are some examples of apps. A good example of a mobile optimized site would be Pearl Vision. So it's very clean. It shows you all your information in a very easy to read manner. It gets you exactly what you need right away, and you don't have to fumble around trying to figure out what you're looking for.
Perfect. So to get into that mobile area, an app and a mobile optimized site is going to be your 2 biggest priorities.
Yep,
then.
that's exactly right.
Perfect. Let's keep going.
All right.
All right, so trend number 2, and that is, you say that search is moving from national to local, which
It is.
completely makes sense, because even as a user, typically when I find myself Googling something, I'm
Right.
looking for something around me. If I'm searching for a coffee shop, I'm going to put in coffee shop Minneapolis, because
Right.
I want it near me, right?
Right, that's right. And a lot of that is due to mobile. We just kind of covered that everyone has their phone with them. More and more searches are happening on your mobile device. Now, this slide actually kind of shows what goes into local search. It's a huge, complicated mess. There are so many different kind of influences that happen. And this is just to kind of illustrate that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, right? But really, what we're talking about is the volume of searches. So 6.5 billion searches every single month are local.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a ton. That's a huge number. And really, 1 out of 3 searches are for local, and that's this year in 2014 should go to over half. It means over half of all searches are really happening in the local space.
So from a franchise standpoint, how do you make sure that you're keeping up with that trend? What can we do?
So what really is important is local sites. If at all possible, you really want that local site that's really focused, simple, and really concentrated on driving leads. Because that's what it really is for, right? If someone's looking in your area for a coffee shop, what you want is to know where it is, how do I get there, what can I get? Make it very simple and drive those leads.
So who is doing this well in the franchise space?
There's a number of people doing it well. We have an example here of Lifetime Fitness. So as you can see, they are kind of dominating this search page, right? They have 5 different locations on this one page of their sites. So it's local sites, their corporate site, they're showing up on the map. It's because they have those local pages that just allows you to fill up the entire search results.
Wow, very powerful. So basically to go ahead and get in with this trend as far as searches being taken from national to local. It's having the local search there, having your local sites, making sure you're showing up from a local standpoint, not just national.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, search is becoming more and more local, which makes it all that much more important to have those local sites when possible. It allows you to kind of dominate that search page, not just have the top result, but have multiple results on that page.
All right, Craig, well, let's keep going. Trend number 3, my favorite topic, social media. Now, social media is a trend, definitely not going away. I think we've all learned that by now. It's getting bigger and stronger. So let's talk about how you can not only stay with that trend, but excel and succeed in that.
Sure. So, yeah, we've talked about this before, right? Social media is here to stay. It's huge. There are a number of different channels you can use. So this slide, for example, talks about the different channels that marketers use. This was a question posed to marketers, what do you use? They really use all the channels. Now, this is specifically talking about community management. So, and that's basically having a page, right? Facebook is really important. Google Plus can be very important for SEO. LinkedIn, if it's like a B2B, that can be very important. So for community management, there are a lot of different things you can use, but Facebook is still number one.
Got it. So who's doing a really great job at Facebook today?
Right. So we have actually a couple of different types of examples. Wendy's, for example, they have one national Facebook page, but they do different messaging for different areas of the country. So Minnesota gets a different message than Florida, which can be very important in the winter. That's one way to do it. Another one is what Applebee's does, and they have different pages for every single location. So those locations can give actual content from their restaurant. They can take pictures and post them up. They're both great methods. Of neither one's right, neither one's wrong. It really is probably up to the corporate, to decide which path they're going to take. But as long as you do it correctly, you can do both very well.
And these are both successful because we're talking about localizing content, either
Exactly.
whether it's one page or multiple, you're still speaking to the local audience.
That's exactly right.
And we'll just jump back a little bit. I mean, Facebook is still so popular. It really is still the king of social media because of the usership, right? I mean, it's got 1.3 billion monthly active users, which is why people are shifting from not only community management, but actually doing paid advertising through social media. So when we're talking about the different channels that have, I mean, LinkedIn has ads, Twitter has ads, YouTube has ads.
Right.
What should you pay for? What's the right channel to use?
And like you said, you can use all those different channels for ads, but really Facebook is the one that almost everybody uses. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, and probably the most important, is the targeting that you can do on Facebook. Like you just mentioned, everyone's on it, right? But you can target down to zip code and audience. So that's really important. You want to be very local around your location, and you really want to only target people who are relevant to you and whatever you're doing. So whether it's moms or dads who are interested in car repair or whatever that audience is into, you can target those people on Facebook.
All right, so let's talk about an example of doing well with Facebook ads then.
So this is actually an example that we did here at Blue Water. So this was for Meineke of Burnsville. It was for a grand opening. And as you can see, he had a soft open, and then we launched a Facebook campaign. And the average number of daily invoices went up by 79% when the Facebook campaign was live. Really shows the power of it.
Awesome. So long story short, top franchises are winning at social media by doing well in community management and doing paid advertisements through the right channels. And again, Facebook is really the clear winner with both there.
That's exactly right.
Perfect. All right, so we are at the tail end of our trends here. Trend number 4, consumers expect real-time response. This is one that I think is getting very underestimated still by a lot of companies today. So why is real-time response so important?
Well, it's important because consumers react to it. So consumers are 22% more likely to consider a brand if they've gotten some type of a real-time response.
Wow.
Right? So that's huge.
So backing up to, we just talked a lot about Facebook. There's a lot of brands doing Facebook, but there are still probably a lot of brands or even individual franchisees that don't realize just how responsive you need to be. So if we use Facebook as an example, I mean, where's the standard there?
Well, so standard and what people expect. So almost 50% of all engagement happens within 30 minutes of a Facebook post. That's not much time at all. And actually 80% of the engagement happens within 180 minutes.
Wow.
So that's almost all of your your reactions and engagement happens right away. So it really shows that A, how important it is, and B, you should probably have someone dedicated to your Facebook page. Just because if you want to react to people, someone has to do it.
Right, absolutely. So let's move into then what about other social channels or in general? You know, if somebody doesn't do a lot of Facebook, maybe they do Twitter or LinkedIn.
Right. Well, as we just talked about Facebook, people react to your posts right away. It's even more important in other channels. Twitter is extremely important, but really all social media. 32% of people expect some type of response within 30 minutes. And what's very interesting is 57% of people expect a response regardless of time of day. So it could be at night or on the weekend. So that makes it, if you're going to get into something like Twitter, you really have to go full in because people expect response.
Right. It's really almost a 24/7
Yeah.
job for a lot of brands now. I mean, you can't just say you're going to do Twitter for a certain period of
Right.
time or Monday through Friday because if you start to build up an audience there, they're going to expect it to be instantaneous.
That's
eventually.
exactly right.
Perfect. Well, let's talk about some examples. Who is doing real-time response well in the franchise space?
Well, so something that happened this past Super Bowl that Pizza Hut did that was really a really cool campaign. So they teamed up with Foursquare and did kind of a real-time check-in on, and if you checked in, you got like a discount, right? Pretty easy campaign, but the response was overwhelming. They had over 300,000 people check in on Foursquare for Pizza Hut to get this discount.
Wow, so this was nationwide.
It was a nationwide campaign, but to check in on Foursquare, you have to be at a location. So,
Gotcha.
right, it's nationwide, but it's still local. And at one point, they had over 1,000 people a minute checking in. I mean, it's crazy numbers.
That is really crazy. So Foursquare, another good social channel that can be used for those local promotions. Let's talk about non-social response. If you have a brand, and there are still some brands that maybe aren't super active in social media, or maybe they're just looking for an alternative way
Yeah.
to provide a response. Would you have an example of that?
Yeah, so one thing you can do, as we just kind of talked about, it can be overwhelming to kind of respond to people all the time. So what else can you do? Well, something like a chat, live click to chat, or a call center can be very, very effective. Matter of fact, call centers or chat features increase conversions by 36%.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a way to do it. Obviously, you have to hire, a call center, but still, that's a way to do it without dedicating all your time to Twitter or Facebook or, whatever social channel.
So depending upon your brand and what's going to work best there, you have some options. It doesn't have to be social.
Exactly right.
All right, so we've talked social media, we've talked live chat and call centers. What's the main takeaway then for how to win at real-time response?
So the main takeaway is really either listen and respond well or don't do it, because you kind of have to be there. And then also have a dedicated resource, whether it's in social, have a manager or somebody dedicated to that, or have a call center or a click to chat. Whatever you do, have a plan for it.
Great advice. Well, that actually ties it up. That was our fourth and final trend. I can't believe we're done already. Thanks so much for joining us, Craig.
Of course.
Really appreciate it as always. Don't forget to get the free infographic that goes along with this webcast. You're going to get that at bluewaterbrand.com/digital. Also, don't forget to follow our blog, bluewaterbrand.com/blog, and all your favorite social media channels. Get more franchise marketing tips from us there as well. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us.